you know. So yesterday we got a few complaints from our listeners. People were complaining about the situation on the very unpleasant situation on VG Beach. And people were also complaining about the fact that there seems to be a total breakdown in the way that the government is operating. For example, nothing is being done. For example, persons are struggling with garbage collection in Choiseul. Wasco once again has sent out several announcements that there will be no water in Castries Southeast. They're literally saying Castries Southeast. It's like they're targeting the entire community. From Millet, they're saying, to cul-de-sac. But apparently the Forestier area and Bexar, well, Forestier area is spared. And I wonder why. Places in the north, for example, Piat and Degazor, are complaining that they too have no water. What is going on? You know? What is going on? We have absolutely no idea. Now, I made an attempt to contact the Environmental Health Department to ask about the issue, not environmental health, sorry, the Solid Waste Management Authority, to find out what is going on with the garbage collection in the South, but I was unsuccessful. Don't worry, I'm not daunted, and I am not deterred. I will continue to attempt to contact persons within that department to find out if maybe they can shed some light on the situation. I finally found a number for the mayor of Castries, so you know I will be calling to attempt to find out what is going on, what is being done about the situation at VG Beach. And I will also attempt to contact the Environmental Health Department, because this is a major environmental health issue, you know, and it needs to be dealt with. Now, I don't know if these individuals are currently on vacation. I don't know if they are having some issues with executing whatever protocols that need to be executed. But the public deserves to know what is going on. And we will not rest until the answers are given. And I encourage everyone listening, those of you in the south of the island, the north, the diaspora, wherever you're tuning into the broadcast, let us know what issues you are dealing with at the moment. Now, I forgot to follow up on the fact that some people were complaining about a lack of certain imported goods. But don't worry, I have made a note, and I will attempt to contact the Department of Commerce to find out what is going on. Now, I expect them to give us the usual answer: supply chain issues. You've heard this before. Every time there's a situation with imports, supply chain issues are always blamed, but we don't know what these issues, or we've never been told what exactly these issues are. But we will attempt to find the answers, and hopefully when these individuals are made aware of the situation, when they are aware that people are talking about it, that it is going out on social media, then maybe they will do what my grandmother used to call buy koyo gum, because this is unacceptable. And it speaks to a deeper issue. It speaks to a deeper issue. And that issue is people's lives and livelihoods are being interrupted. Is this deliberate? Because if you recall, similar things happened in 2021. Oh, okay. Well, that is very good to know. Somebody just sent me an update here. Let me read this. And the person is saying that onions and garlic have returned to the supermarket. So, brava. So maybe the Ministry of Commerce doesn't get a call. But we will continue to monitor the situation. We have some people. Somebody's saying, so many people are popping in and saying good afternoon and just giving some love today. Thank you guys for joining us. Somebody's saying, good afternoon, Angie. How are you today? What's the topic? Because I missed some of it. You didn't miss much, honey. We just started. So I was, of course, giving an update on the conversations that we had yesterday. And for those of you just popping in, let me remind you. So we spoke about several issues. Several persons called in speaking or informing that there were developments that were detrimental to people's livelihoods taking place in St. Lucia, and these issues were not being dealt with. Foremost in my mind is this sewage, raw sewage seepage at VG Beach. Now, after the gentleman called in and spoke about this situation, I went online and I found a video which showed the extent of the situation. And guys, if you have not been in this area, it is not good. Yesterday afternoon, after my show ended, I was actually driving to Castries. Those of you who know will know that Fire FM's, our studio is located in the VG area. So on my way to Castries, when I got to the VG playing field area, well, it's now called the SAB, the stench, the wind was blowing in that direction, and the stench hit me from all the way over there. And my goodness, guys, it was not pretty. It was not pretty at all. Then when I got online, I saw a video. And this video showed in very graphic detail what exactly is taking place in the area. So according to the video I saw yesterday, and that brave soul, I need to applaud this brave soul who took the time and recorded and documented this situation. It could not have been easy speaking with the amount of water that I saw, it couldn't have been easy speaking in that environment. But this person, this brave individual, actually showed the sewer where the water was seeping from. And it is a sewer that is right there on the beach, very close to the road. And the water is seeping from it. Now, there's no way of knowing where this is coming from or what feeds into that sewer, if it's coming from the airport or the restaurants on the beach, or the bath, because there are baths there and changing rooms, or if it's coming from the residents up on the hill. But you could see the water just flowing out of this thing continuously, just flowing out. There's a crack in the slab on top, and it's just flowing. The water is just seeping out. And that water has collected on the road right next to the airport. And this was happening on a very, very busy day. I don't know if that recording that I saw was made yesterday, but I wouldn't be surprised, because you see, yesterday there were 4 cruise ships in the harbor. Now you have individuals coming in on regional flights to George F.L. Charles Airport. You have restaurants. You have travel agents, car rentals, all of these businesses operating from the airport. Then you have the persons on the beach. There are 4 restaurants. There are changing rooms, bathrooms. There are people who rent chairs on the beach. And all of these individuals are being affected. All of them. You have the taxi drivers that go in and out. And everyone is calling for an end or some sort of solution to this problem. But it is largely being ignored. And we are at the height of the tourism season, the cruise season. So again, I will not allow this situation to simply fade away. I will continue to make attempts to contact the Environmental Health Department, the Mayor of Castries, even the Sewage Department at Wasco, whoever would speak to me on this issue. I am simply going to keep calling them until they decide to do something about it. Because this situation cannot stand. Too many livelihoods are being affected. I mean, that area is an economic hub. And if the people on the beach cannot speak for themselves, or they don't know who to call, well, I'm going to make it my personal mission to ensure that this situation is dealt with the utmost urgency. Speaking about the water situation, every day when I check, although Wasco, somebody's asking, where are the health, are you saying involvement or department? I'm not sure what you're trying to say. But I guess the Department of the Health, the Environmental Health Department would have to be the one to take up this situation and get it done, get something done about it, if the mayor and these other people are not doing what they're supposed to do. So I think maybe people need to bring this to the attention of everyone. Somebody is making a statement here. Person is saying everything is a hot mess in St. Lucia, but only the SLP hacks are saying what the mood is, but crying inside, Lord have mercy on us. Well, if they're not going to do it, we're going to make them do it, because we're not going to stop until it gets done. I was informed that the Solid Waste Management Agency made a statement on the garbage collection issue or halt in the South, but I have not personally seen this statement. I did attempt to contact the lady in charge. I'm not sure if she's still in charge, but I have not gotten through. Again, I will not give up. I will continue to call and to find out, or if I have to visit their offices myself, I'm going to have to find a way to get this situation to the attention of the proper authorities. Speaking on I was speaking about Wasco earlier, yes. So Wasco seems to be, I'm not even sure what Wasco is doing, because they've put out so many advisories saying that they are working on resolving leaks and ensuring that they improve their services to the wider public. But it seems to be just words. Wasco, I don't understand what exactly. I really want somebody from Wasco to call a talk show or to come on the news and to explain to the general public what exactly are their crews working on. Because this situation simply cannot stand. It's not a new situation. Guys, you would recall persons in the north and in Babuno have been lamenting. Not lamenting. Let's use the proper word. People have been suffering. For years, people in Babuno have been suffering from a lack of regular pipe-borne water. Now, somebody says that Wasco is selling the water to the cruise ships, and maybe that might be true. I don't know. I cannot say that this is the case. But several communities, it almost seems as if these communities are targeted. I am from Castries Southeast, and I can tell you, the area where I live is very close to a Wasco intake. In fact, that intake is situated on my family's property. And we never used to have any issues with low pressure. In fact, our problem had always been that we would have to spend a lot of money changing pipes because of the amount of pressure on the water line. That was always the issue. Now, things have changed. I've been living in that area since I was a child. Since maybe I was about 12 years old. Permanently living there. And we've never had a situation where that particular area did not have pipe-borne water. Even when everywhere else in St. Lucia had no water, people would come all the way to that area to get water. But for some unknown reason, since the management of Wasco was given over to the current person in charge, CEO, director, whatever she is, there's been lots of problems with getting pipe-borne water to several parts of St. Lucia. I don't understand this. I don't understand it because Wasco has been operating in St. Lucia since before I was born. There have been significant upgrades. You hear about it. The John Compton Dam, the revival of several small intakes in key areas. You hear about the water catchments in the south, at Hill 20, in the Dennery. In the Dennery area. So Wasco has several water catchments all over St. Lucia. I can tell you personally that there have been instances where Wasco had discontinued the use of certain water catchments, and they have gone back and reopen these catchments. So what is the problem? What is the problem? I don't think that Wasco's problem is the pipes. Reason being, Wasco has used pipes from inception. I don't think the problem is that Wasco is not receiving or collecting enough water. Reason being, Wasco keeps telling people to collect rainwater. Shouldn't they be collecting rainwater? Isn't that their purview? There is the Thebos treatment plant. There is the lab. Significant upgrades have been made to this company throughout the years. I believe the problem with Wasco is the management. That is my take on it. Wasco's problem is the fact that the management of that company is largely left to political appointees. How do we know that these people are even qualified, suitably qualified, to head such a critical company? Water is life. And look at the way these things, it's easy to look at the way these things are being done and to ask yourself, is this deliberate? Since December, and you can check it if you have the Wasco channel on WhatsApp, you can check it. Wasco has been denying water or interrupting the water supply to certain constituencies. They're not saying areas anymore. They're doing it by constituency. Castries Southeast has been interrupted since December. They spoke about Dennery North. They've been systematically denying water to certain places. Several people in Babuno, now Piat, Faustin Development, all of these places, no water for months. Look at the difference. Let's look at the difference. Lucilec, a company which is privately owned, privately run. When was the last time? Oh, we have a caller on the line already. Good afternoon to you, caller. You are on the air. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
Hello?
Good afternoon, caller. You are on the air.
Yes, that lady at Wasco, she's a strong labor supporter, and I know her very well. The manager. Yes, she is.
Everybody knows that.
Yes. I know everything about her. Sorry. All right, take care.
Okay, thank you. But I'm saying the middle management, and we're comparing Wasco and Lucilec, two utility companies who operate in the same space. Wasco, Lucilec is a privately run entity. Oh, we have another caller on the line. Hold on. Good afternoon to you, caller. You are on the air.
Good afternoon, Angie. Happy New Year to you and to your listeners and viewers around the world and in St. Lucia.
Happy New Year to you. We haven't heard your voice for the year. What's going on?
I'm all right. Just watching and observing what's happening. But I think this whole water situation is very shameful.
Mm-hmm.
And I ask the question all the time to people and to myself, how it is in those big countries,
Mm-hmm.
the US, Canada, England, and of the likes, on a daily basis, 7 days a week, 365 days for the year, you can get a reliable supply of water, pipe-borne water. And in St. Lucia, where we have all the lakes, well, not lakes, but rivers, water intakes, more rainfall, more forestry,
Mm-hmm.
and we have a water crisis. In those big countries that I made mention earlier, there's no water intake. There are few man-made lakes. But yet still, when you get up on a morning, 7 days a week, 365 days for the year, you can get a reliable supply of water in your tap. Doesn't that tell you that something is fundamentally wrong with our system?
I think it's the management.
I'm zeroing on Wasco.
I think it's the management. I honestly believe it's the management of Wasco that's the problem. Because here's the thing, and I was about to say it before you called. Lucilec, a company that has to generate electricity. There's no place that they can just go and get the electricity. They have to generate electricity using oil that we do not have in St. Lucia, that they have to import. But yet still, they use fuel, they use stuff that they have to import, and yet still, electricity has not been unreliable since the 80s.
And not just unreliable, the service that Lucilec offers or gives to its customers is on par.
Exactly, it's so efficient.
You have a power failure in St. Lucia, and you report that to Lucilec within seconds or minutes.
Listen, these guys are out there working. These guys are out there working.
Wasco, on the other hand, if you report a pipe, a leak, For weeks upon weeks or months in some instances, you see that running, that leak. Water just been wasted. And it will take, you have to basically tie the hand of Wasco for some kind of Wasco personnel to come and fix that leak. Meanwhile, the water is being wasted. The fundamental problem with Wasco, I think Wasco needs a total overhaul. I think there needs to be a revisiting of the legislation, the law that governs Wasco, reenact something new legislation and change the whole system of Wasco. Because for my information, Lucilec is privately owned, but the government of St. Lucia has shares in Lucilec.
Yeah.
Inclusive of the Castries Constituency Council. So they have shares. So Lucilec government is a shareholder of Lucilec. But Lucilec is privately run. There's a board and there's a structure. And the structure for the years that I've known Lucilec, it's working well.
Of course.
Customer service offered by Lucilec is impeccable.
Listen, let me tell you something. Let me just bring something to your attention. Lucilec's building has been closed. The one in the entrance to Point Seraphim, that building has been closed because of mold issues for years. And not even that has interrupted Lucilec's service delivery. Their headquarters is closed. Could you imagine that?
And you know what I admire about Lucilec? They take the customers very seriously. When Lucilec has an issue, our good friend Kami Joseph will come.
Oh,
I
yes.
think she's a communications officer,
Yes,
and she will
is.
give you information. She will provide the public with information. Wasco, on the other hand, if there's a problem, there's no communication, there's no line of contact, they don't see anything, the media, that people just speculating, you don't know who to call, you do not know who's the communications person. It's just a whole structural mess with Wasco. And I was coming to that point. Government after government have been pumping money into Wasco, but there's no change. If you do I'm challenging you, Angie. If you do a research in the last 20 years or so as to how much money governments, I say that with an S, have been pumping into Wasco, it will be mind-boggling. It will be an eye-opener to see the millions of dollars that have been pumped into Wasco, and there's no change. But you know why there's no change in Wasco? And you hit the nail on the head earlier in your commentary. Wasco it seems to me, I don't know if I could be wrong, but that's the impression and that's the perception I get, and I'm sure many persons have that perception. That it seems to me that Wasco is a dumping ground to give Labour Party hacks a job. So if you're a Labour Party hack and you want a job, they put you in Wasco.
Sweetheart, let me tell you something. Caller, you are so right. Wasco seems to be a dumping ground for political appointees. It's a reward for supporting the party. And I say this not because I don't like Wasco, because that's not true. A lot of my family members work at Wasco. My family does a lot of business with Wasco. But here's the thing. I know individuals who are working at Wasco for years. I know a certain individual who between 2016 and 2021 walked off the job at Wasco because he said to another individual, and I quote, he refuses to work under a UWP-led government. He walked off the job. And would you believe that in 2021, after the general election, this individual came back to St. Lucia, because this individual left St. Lucia. He came back to St. Lucia, he walked into Wasco, started working from D1. And that's not a joke, that's not a fabrication. Okay, and this individual has a middle management position at Wasco. And I don't think he is the only one.
I know a few stories about Wasco personnel,
Mm-hmm.
and I can tell you, it's mind-boggling, it's shameful, it's just despicable. If you do a skill set analysis of the persons from the bottom up at Wasco, without any fear of contradiction, I can tell you, Angie, and your listeners and viewers,
Mm-hmm.
that nearly half of those persons working at Wasco are not qualified to work there.
And I don't doubt you, because again,
And more so,
I have inside information that there are engineers at Wasco who have absolutely no qualification in engineering. It's a joke. The entire organization is a joke.
and I remembered in under Kenny Anthony, there was a move of foot. I don't know if you remember that, Angie. There was a move of foot to privatize Wasco.
Yes,
You remember that? And I think
yes,
a French company was
yes,
interested in the whole
yes.
transformation
I
process.
remember.
And there was stiff opposition to that. Now, I don't believe in privatizing water. I won't support that. But I believe, for me, it cannot be right that people in the north of the country are suffering. They cannot get a reliable supply of water for months. It cannot be that Wasco is bleeding. And another thing is, there needs to be a financial audit of Wasco, comprehensive financial audit of Wasco, so that the general public, the solution people, can know how much money is being pumped into Wasco. And when we get that information, the public, the solution people can decide, is it worth it for a government to continue to pump money into Wasco, or is it a situation or decision that has to be made that we need to change the structure of Wasco. For now, the structure of Wasco, the management is top heavy. The people there
Very.
in top management and middle management, they are not qualified. They know nothing about water resources. They know nothing about money. Some of them have not even managed a candy shop, but they manage in Wasco. And that is the reality. Management is not just about, okay, you think you can, some of them cannot even manage a candy shop, but yet still they manage in Wasco. Wasco is a critical component of your economy. Everything is dependent on two things: electricity and water.
Yeah.
And if your water company is not functioning, it affects everything. It affects productivity. It affects your tourism product, because if the voters
It
cannot get a
affects
reliable supply
education.
of water,
It affects
it affects
education. It
education
affects
for schools.
healthcare.
It affects business.
Everything.
Everything centers around Wasco. And right now, Wasco is a mess. It's failing the country.
It is.
And the time has come where the people. And I said, you know what, this new year, I took a new year resolution. I think not to say anything about when it comes to social issues in St. Lucia, because I'm tired. Because it's like, to me, you saying these things, you bringing all the issues, you're trying to enlighten St. Lucians, and you're trying to speak out. But to me, the majority, I could be wrong, the majority of St. Lucians, it does not bother them whether they get water or they don't get water. And so, to me, me advocating for St. Lucians and speaking out about those issues, to me, it's like draining my energy. But you see, sometimes it
You just
my
can't
mom
help it,
lives in
can you?
Balata. My mom lives in Balata.
Mm-hmm.
And if she gets for a week, if my mom gets water for 2 days on a stretch, that's a lot.
Wow.
She literally now has to pay from a little pension, pay a private individual to get water to her.
Wow.
Is that fair to a pensioner who have contributed? And there are many like her. I'm just using my mom as an example.
Yeah.
She pays taxes like anyone else, and yet still, it's a right as a citizen to get a reliable supply of water, and many citizens too. And Wasco is failing. I think the time has come where we should organize a delegation and picket Wasco and demand that the government change the structure of Wasco We demand that there needs to be a skills audit, skill sets audit. If you're not qualified, you should not be working at Wasco. Sorry. Because at the end of the day, what happens is the services are affected because they're not qualified. They don't know what
Yeah,
they're
they
doing.
have no idea what they're
They're
doing.
not
You're right.
managing the company properly. For the life of me, Angie, and I'll end there, Wasco has never shown its financial audits to the people of St. Lucia. And I can guarantee you, if Wasco presents its financial audits, you will see on a yearly, annual basis, Wasco is always, it ends up in the red. Just suppose that to Lucilec. Lucilec is well managed, and when they present their financial audits, I can guarantee you that they always have the profits.
Yeah.
Because Lucilec is a well structured company. The management is serious. They have there's a clear line of operations when it comes to Lucilec. And the customer service is impeccable. So people have that confidence in Lucilec.
They do.
Compared to Wasco, people have no confidence in Wasco. You have a set of Labour Party hacks in there. They do not know the head from the foot or the shoulder when it comes to management. And so because the party is in office and they can get a job, they go there and the mess continues. I am saying to St. Lucia, the time has come. We are in 2026. It cannot be right for you not to get a reliable supply of water. I'm not saying we're not going to have little droughts here and there, because that is nature. But do not tell me, even in the rainy season, you would
That we
expect
have no water.
a reliable supply of water. There's no water.
Thank you for that contribution, Ian. And
Thank
take
you.
care. Have a happy new year.
You too.
All right. So, guys, again, as I was saying, and I agree with the caller, Wasco is in dire need of an overhaul. Now, you heard the caller speak about skill set analysis. Do you know that there was an ongoing issue? Oh, we have another caller on the line. Good afternoon to you, caller. You are on the air.
Good afternoon to you, caller. Sorry, Angie. Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Angie, these days I'm just laughing because if I don't laugh, it's vexation.
Well,
that's going to hit me.
If you don't laugh, you're going to cry.
Exactly, and I really don't want to cry, so I'm going to laugh it out. Angie, I heard you speaking about this water crisis. I heard you speaking about the sugar crisis. I went to the supermarket because I heard you yesterday mentioning the sugar. Let's talk about the sugar crisis. So I went to the supermarket yesterday. I said, you know what, let me just pop in and pick up a couple bits. And when I got to the sugar, and sorry, there's a bit. Let me stop it from happening. It might be a bit irritating on the radio as well. Yeah, so I got there and there was only Demerara sugar, which is expensive.
Not just expensive.
Okay.
Not just expensive. I can hear you, but not just expensive. Do you realize that the Demerara sugar does not dissolve as easily as the other sugar that we get? I don't know what's wrong with it. I don't know if the cubes are too big. I don't know if I just can't.
Demerara sugar is also looking dirtier than.
Yes,
normally it's brown and it's clean.
I just can't. You know, a friend of mine made a statement. He said there are things you can and there are things you don't can. And I agree. I just don't can with this Demerara sugar.
So, the only sugar I try to use is brown sugar if I use sugar. Do you understand?
Yes.
I do not use white sugar because it is the most unhealthy thing to put in your body.
Right.
And for years, it's brown sugar. So I went there and I only could get a packet of Demerara sugar. So I said, is there no other brown sugar? No, ma'am.
Wow.
Anytime, do you know when you get? No, ma'am. I said, okay. So Angie was right. There is And it's not the Demerara. The Demerara sugar is there, but it's more expensive. I mean, it costs maybe 3 times the price of the normal sugar. You understand?
Yes.
So I was just like, I just said, you know what, pick up a bag anyway, if that's what there is.
Mm-hmm.
So every time SLP comes into government, although it's a continuation this time because they were voted back in according to them, and I will continue to say according to them, they won an election. We have sugar, water, well, sugar, rice, flour crisis in St. Lucia, and we also have water crisis for the longest while. When the UWP was there desilting that dam, did you hear the noise that the SLP opposition was making at the time?
Oh yes.
Did you hear them? Did you hear these people, instead of saying, yes, the dam is being desilted, we need the capacity for water for the St. Lucian people, right? They came out and they made noise.
No, I need to make a specification. Just hold on. It was not about the desilting of the dam. The issue that they had was the fact that Alan Chastney was saying to Wasco, let us buy this piece of equipment that will allow us to continuously desilt the dam on our own, as opposed to spending so much money renting a piece of equipment or hiring a company to do this. That was the issue. Not that the dam was being desilted, but the fact that...
The issue was also that a company was hired to desilt the dam. I remember that clearly.
Right. So...
Guy Joseph, new company, backing, sorry, let me use the word backing, all over the place with no bite.
Mm-hmm.
So today, 2021, SLP came into office, did absolutely nothing when it came to the continuation of desilting the John Compton Dam and to continue the work that was started where all these little water catchment areas around the island were being run.
Hello, we're losing you, caller. Are you there? Hello? Okay, we seem to have lost the caller, but I'm sure she will call back soon. But let's go back to the issue with the management. Good afternoon, caller. You are on the air.
Can you hear me, Angie?
I can hear you now. Continue.
So, Angie, yes, even my calls, they're cutting off. You can try and cut it as much as you want. I will still speak. I can call back. We not paid for my phone bill, not y'all. Right? So try as you may. It's not going to work. I will still speak. My head hard. You better know that. I'm tough. I can take it. And I can speak about it. So, Angie, so listen to this. UWP had a program where they were going to all the little water catchment areas
and reviving them.
The island.
Yes.
And reviving and revitalizing all of them, running pipes, etc. So the community near these water catchment areas would have some water in case we have a drought or
a problem at the dam.
Feeding. That's correct. The dam that's feeding would be able to feed the north, and those little catchment areas would be able to feed their community, the communities where they're located. Did SLP continue this work? No, they did not.
They have not. They have not.
They did not. We are in 2026. We are in 2026, and we're here screaming about how worse the water shortages have become in St. Lucia. Now, I want every St. Lucian, may I not say who has a brain, because we all have that, I'm beginning to sound like Rick Wayne these days. Sorry.
Well, I think you're in good company.
So may I tell St. Lucians, please, St. Lucians, when we have those water shortages and we have crews working all over the place, look towards Port Castries and tell me how many you see sitting there. Crews, how many cruises you see sitting there? Sitting there on our port, getting loaded with water for the people that are cruising in them, right? And I'm talking about the cruise ships. Let me make it clear.
I know you are, and I think everyone knows you are.
How many cruise ships are sitting in the port when they're telling us there is no water to give to us? There's no water, but the water is being fed to those cruise ships. Now, the same cruise ships were getting $6.50 per head back then. Today, we're receiving $1, and it is receiving $11 or $10 or whatever.
$10 because the other one, it's $12.50 actually. So the other $1.50 is going to solid waste management. But that's for another show.
Okay. We're now receiving $1. So much so our ports are in chaos. So water is in chaos. Ports are in chaos. People can't pay their goods. This is happening. That is happening. All sorts and all types. I'm warning solutions again. Look at Haiti. Look at Haiti and look at how Haiti became the poorest country in the Caribbean. The people, of Haiti became the poorest people in the Caribbean. Look at Haiti. Look at the leadership of Haiti. Look at it. I'm even warning. Now, people are going to take this one maybe a little bit far. But I'm warning us, even about our children who are going to study at the University of the West Indies, and the type of politics that is being taught to them, the style of politics that is being taught to them. Certainly not democracy. So I am warning St. Lucians that the SLP has taken St. Lucia backwards for possibly now 20 years. In 5 years. And if they think I am being biased, stop and look around you.
Yeah.
Stop and look around you and compare St. Lucia right now. The bush, the nasty, the dirty, the smelly, the horrible Castries, all of it. Compare this to the time between 2016 and 2021. Make the comparison and be honest with yourself. You don't know what the word honest means. Be truthful. Tell the truth. Tell the truth once and for all, and see where you are today and why. See where you are. Look at the bush on the side of the road. Look at the bridges falling apart, the rivers with that's running under those bridges with silt and trees growing in them. Look around us. Look at the buildings. Look at the state of the buildings. Look at the sewage all over the place. Look at the garbage being dumped on the sides of the road in little bags by residents, by people who live in those areas. Where there used to be a big bin and people were dropping their garbage in those big bins. Where have those bins gone? So the bins have been taken out and garbage is now piling up all over St. Lucia again. Tell me if this is taking a country forward or backward. Tell me.
Yeah. And And it's not hard to see. You just have to look around, like you're saying. And these things are real. These are not fabrications. These are not. It's not your imagination at play. You are speaking about what you're seeing, and you spoke about trees growing in the rivers, and you brought this image to mind because this morning I passed through the Masha area on my way to town, and there are trees growing in the Masha River in the middle of cash trees.
There are trees growing in every river. In the one in Badwash, by the Badwash Bridge, in the one in Bonte by the Bonte Bridge, in the one in Shock by the Shock Bridge, in the one where else did I see it? Because I'm seeing it. The Masha one, you just mentioned it.
Yeah.
I am seeing it all over the place. I am seeing trees. I am seeing trees falling on the road, bush covering the sides of the road. The gutters are full of weeds and little trees growing in the gutters and debris, and nothing is happening. This place is a dump. They are turning St. Lucia to a dump. Let me tell you, when one grows up in a clean country, when one grows up in a country that doesn't have mosquitoes and water in what is supposed to be
you mean stagnant water?
Yes, stagnant water in the middle of the city in the gardens. Yes, in this big whatever they built there, right? Stagnant water sitting there, breeding mosquitoes. Isn't it diseases and stuff that you encouraging in a country when there's garbage all over the place that's not being picked up, that's being filled by dogs and animals are going in it, and it's all over the place. Isn't that diseases, flies and stuff and rats and stuff that you're encouraging? So what you doing to the country?
Yeah.
What are you doing to the country? And water is life, Wasco. Water is life. Gouvernement. Water is life. Water is life, but solutions don't have water. So how you all have life? You don't have water. You don't expect your life to be in a mess? You don't have water, pipe-borne water. Every time you've been given us the same story by Wasco, but look at podcast trees and tell me what you see sitting there. And what you see getting filled up with the same water that you're paying for. Because you don't have water in your pipe, but your water bills are coming to you on a monthly basis. And solutions are going to sit there and keep quiet. You're not going to sit there and say the mood orange. I don't want to repeat this. The mood is red, which is the English phrase for orange. Solutions. That's what you want?
Well, let's hope that they're hearing you, caller. Let's hope that the powers that be are taking note and they are listening to the people, because this country does not belong to the 17 men and women in the cabinet. They belong to us, and these men and women are answerable to us. Now, we're about to take a short commercial break. Thank you so much for that contribution, caller.
No problem, Angie. Lucians, open your ears and start acting upon what you all should act upon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Angie.
We'll take a short commercial break and we will be right back.
You already know the power of Licks products on your clothes and household. You licked your whites and colored clothes, leaving them fresh and scented. You licked your dishes and left your hands protected with vitamin E. You licked your floors, even licked your toilet. Now we expand and bring you 3 new scents in our fabric softener: Balmy Sunshine, Summer Sunshine, and Thousand Flowers. And let's those stains off of colored clothes with Licks Color Scent Bleach. Let's wet even further with Bondicare Body Soap Bars in deodorant and antibacterial. So let's tiredness and bacteria out and refresh your tired body. Your products giving you licks? Then choose Licks from Today Distribution Inc. Available at all leading supermarkets.
We're back with more Hard Talk here on Fire 107.7 FM. And in case you didn't know, the number to call, 572-3473. Now, let me turn my attention to the Facebook platform because we have quite a few messages piling up there that I need to share with you guys. So somebody's saying, "Hi, Miss Angie, blessed day to you. I have a problem with the police traffic unit. Why is it taking so long before they could issue you with a police report from a road accident? It's been 6 months plus, and up to now I can't receive the report. Can you believe that?" Caller, yes, I can. I don't know what these people are doing. I don't know why it takes so long, but for some reason, I don't know. Honestly, people are complaining that it is taking them years to receive a police report when a traffic accident has occurred. And this is a topic for us to take up on full disclosure when Foster Chico comes back to the studio. But I think he might be here next week. I'm not sure. I don't want to say that. And then we have any delays. But it is a topic that we will remember. But for some reason, I don't know what the cause is. In fact, I was on a bus and this lady was making a phone call to a police officer, and she was saying that she was on, you guys remember that before the election, there was a very tragic incident where a bus carrying passengers in Leclerc, they went down, I think it was Active Hill. They went off the road and off a cliff. I think that incident took place in March of last year. It was days before the election, and I was on a bus, and I overheard this lady saying to the police in charge of the incident that she had still not received a police report from that incident. It was in December. November, close, So, I don't know what the issue is. And I'm hoping that the traffic department put some pep in their step when it comes to that situation. So we have another message here. It says, "To be honest with you, Angie, our people in St. Lucia are facing too many problems with this company. We should go back to the old-fashioned way." I don't know what way will work. I think Wasco needs to be purged. Like the previous caller said, Wasco needs to be purged. Because I will tell you something else that you might not be aware of. But there was an issue with Wasco where there was a huge delay in delivering back pay and all of that because there was supposed to be a skill set assessment done so that people can either go up a grade or go down a grade, and that was a total mess. And I don't think this situation took such a long time to resolve because maybe, just maybe, the persons who were supposed to have certain skill sets, they didn't have them. I don't know. Let me continue. It says here, "St. Lucia needs a restart for people to realize what is the root problem with this country. They are immune with hate and self-prejudice. They don't even know what is going on around them." Somebody else says, "A lot of those who are complaining that they had no water for weeks still voted for a one-day VAT. I no longer feel sorry for anyone who has to suffer under this government. They should leave them without water for the whole. The mood is red and dread." Somebody responded quite promptly, "I am not one of them." Well. Let me tell you, this issue with Wasco, it's just an ongoing problem in our lives. So, somebody says, "Ian, stop crying for St. Lucians. They like their misery." Another person says, "Exactly." Wow. Another one says, "I told you all St. Lucia is a hot, hot mess." Another one say, "My lady, you feeling sorry for them and not. That's why they've." I think this person is saying, isn't that what they voted for? Another person says, people are not concerned about the well-being of the country like before. Some are just waiting to be paid to vote. Another one says, there will never be any change in this country,